What do you see on that interception? Did you just throw a little short?
Just listen to my coach, keeping my eyes on the quarterback.
David, some of the non-stops that you had earlier in the season, to be able to stop them there at the end, how big was it down on the goal line and of course?
That was huge. Like, just to this organization, to this team, just like the mentality our defense have. Like, we trying to get off the field 3 plays. That's just our mentality.
How important is this after last week? Did it feel like it was necessary for you guys to bounce back?
Most definitely. Like, each week we try to like do our best, try to get the win. Our business is winning.
JP, what's your thoughts on the overturned touchdown and maybe Porter staying after it there on that play?
Next play mentality. No matter what happens in the game, we just next play.
You guys had a number of injuries. Speak to the play of the linebackers with different guys going in and out.
Just next man up. We just knowing like we got to tackle hard, and tackling Derrick Henry. Guys go down, so we just be ready. The next guy be ready mentality.
So you really had interceptions, some family bragging rights?
Nah, not necessarily. It's just my mom. My mom gonna be talking a lot about it.
Have you ever intercepted them before?
We always played on the same team.
Okay. James, with so much at stake, the first place and what happened here last year, how big was the win to come here and win?
Oh, it was big. Just playing last year in the playoff and just having them running the ball on us last year in the playoff. Just had that mentality like we got to see them again.
You helped shape some. They could have. When you stopped the run, a 55-yard run out of bounds, he gets in. That he was able to burn some time after that. Was that viewed as an important play?
Oh, most definitely. You got guys like Peyton Wilson running, so I just want to match his energy. It's just like we brothers. We always want the same thing for each other.
You thought you had a shot at him?
Huh?
You thought you had a shot at him? You're coming across. You knew you could.
I just run to the ball. 21 man rule. Just run to the ball.
What do you make of DK Metcalf's punt gunner? How would you grade that?
When I seen it, I was like, he don't supposed to be. I should have took it. I should have taken the rap for him.
You guys good?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, JP.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We good in the back?
All right, fire away.
DK, what was it like this week, turning it around from losing at home to the Bills and coming on the road and beating the Ravens? What turned it around for you guys?
I think we just knew what was at stake. First place for the division, and we knew we were coming in facing a good team, and they had just come off a loss as well, so we know we were going to get their best shot. But I think we had a great practice all week. We were on all the details throughout the whole week, and I think that it came to fruition out there on the field.
What were you guys saying to each other about how to approach this game during the week?
I just felt it. Everybody kept talking about the rivalry between the Steelers and the Ravens, and that's all that needed to be said. Mike T would show old clips of the previous years and how the games came down to last second plays made by our team. But I think we just knew what was at stake, and that's what happened.
You came out attacking right off the back of the deep ball, and then even started the second half. Was that part of the plan to just attack him and be aggressive all day?
Yes, sir. And then I think we all got our opportunities downfield and got our opportunities to make plays, and when the ball was in there, we capitalized on it.
It's one thing to decide you want to throw the ball deep a lot, but you guys executed at a really high level. What were the details that you feel like you did right today that you able to do it on that?
I think just us connecting at practice on Wednesday, Thursday, and even on Friday. The defensive scout team gave us great looks. We were competing all week at practice. And then, like I said, man, we're on all the details, all the checks, all the looks at practice. We were communicating all week. So, I think it was just a perfect storm, for everything to just come together and for us to play a good game like that.
You mentioned Storm. What's it like to get a win like this for Mike Tomlin after kind of the last week or so that he's had that you guys have had?
Yeah, we knew not to pay attention to any outside noise. Like I've said this before, Coach T is a great leader for us, and he's done nothing but take the bullets for us. Even when we're high and when we're low, but He's always come in every day, has been steady and stayed the same, always motivated us to always, play our best ball. And, that's what he did last week. And like I keep saying, man, we knew what was at stake, first place in this heated rivalry. The better team came on top.
Was it satisfying for you guys to get the win, though, in that way, in the middle of that?
Oh, yeah. Offense played good. Could still had a little lull at the end there, but for the defense to come up big how they did was amazing.
What was the conversation like?
How much, Mike said earlier that you guys practiced a lot. How much did that first play specifically mean to you guys to hook up like that?
Yeah, it was great. Felt great. When I saw Aaron loaded up, I was like, here we go. And that was it. That's all I've been waiting for is opportunities down the field. And we were able to capitalize on that.
Did you sense Aaron more locked in than he normally is?
No, he's always been the same. Every game. But this week it felt different as a team, as a whole. As an offense, we knew what was at stake, and like I said, man, it just felt different this week at practice. Getting off the plane last night, getting here at the stadium, it just felt different.
What like the meeting on Monday that you had in his house with all the Steel people? What was that? I mean, did that serve any extreme purpose, at least help you in this game? What was that all about? What was the impact?
No, I ain't go to the meeting. I ain't go to the meeting on Tuesday. No. I meet with Aaron and Art on Tuesday morning, so I ain't go to that meeting.
What's the conversation like on your sideline during the replay review of the touchdown that got overturned? Did you sort of sense that would be overturned, or was it surprised you?
No. Joey didn't give up on the play, and we knew that the defense was going to get a stop, and we had to go back out there and at least get a first down. We weren't able to do that. Defense bowled back up and got a stop on their 2-minute drive.
You feel like you were defended any differently today? Do you think Adam and Marquez being in there changed their approach to him?
No, I think they got a little. I didn't see much safety help over the top today, yes, sir. I think that was a big thing of how we got to throw a lot of the balls down the field.
You take that personal? I mean, you were double teamed most of the year. I mean, you see that happen. Okay, that's a great opportunity.
Yes, sir. I'm not going to tell the defense what to do or what not to do. If they want to put one-on-one on me, then so be it.
On that final punt, you were a gunner on that play. What went into that? How much experience do you have gunning, and how'd that kind of feel? Drew a hold on you?
No, Sko was on the sideline saying his finger was hurting, so I told him, I got you, when I saw him running out on the field, and he went to the other side. I didn't know that part until I got to the sideline, but I took one gunner rep in college, but no, I'm trying to win.
So did you go out and do that yourself? You went out there on your own?
Yeah, if you want to say that, yeah.
You mentioned the rivalry, DK. Was this what you thought it would be?
At the end of the day, I look at football as football. They're trying to stop us, and we got to score points, and that's how I look at it. I don't look at any game being bigger than the next.
So DK, what does this win from a confidence standpoint, from the team moving forward? How do you feel?
I think we put our best foot forward today, and we still got to clean up some mistakes. We still have yet to play our best game, so I think that's the most confidence that we can get out of this. Clean up those mistakes and just continue to build off of this win, against a good football team.
Aaron had the wheels like that? Aaron had the wheels like that?
No, I thought it was a busted play at first, and then I saw him run to the sidelines, so I just started cheering. My boy still is a dual threat quarterback.
Good.
Thanks,
everybody.
All right, we'll open it up for questions for Aaron.
Aaron, Mike said identified pretty early in the week that you felt like the deep passing game might be a weapon for you in this one. It's one thing to think that, it's another to go out and execute the way you did. What went into the success in that area today?
Well, I mean, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's all about practice. When you go out there and execute and practice like we did this week, it gives you the confidence to be able to make some of those plays. And I thought it was our most crisp week of preparation on the field. I think off the field we've been really good, but I thought the energy was good. Not a big believer in coincidences, so I got to think that just Marquez and Adam out there, made a difference from a professionalism standpoint. Not saying those other guys don't have professionalism. I love Gal and Roman and all of our other guys, but I just think there was an extra level of focus this week. And, then Art wanted to be aggressive on the first play. You know, as you guys were talking about, we hadn't completed a pass, over 20 yards in a while. And took a shot. DK got it, and then he was kind of on one. But he was on one in practice on Thursday, and then he was on one on practice on Friday. So love that from our guy. I think he even ran down on a punt. So proud of DK, proud of our defense standing up there at the end, and thought the offensive line dominated the line of scrimmage. From a pass game standpoint, we didn't run it very well. But when we had to have some conversions on third down, we made some plays.
Aaron, what does it do for confidence when you hit that first big one?
We did it against Cincinnati as well on the first third down. That wasn't the first play of the game, but I just like Art's kind of focus. He wanted to be aggressive throwing the ball. And I knew it was going to be a lot of different guys. But once DK got going, I just kind of had to keep feeding him, and he had a couple huge plays. Then the Lions, in the second half, we've kind of sucked the first possession of the second half coming out, and to start off with a extended pass play, and then DK to keep working and keep working and keep working, and that big play, get us down there, get a field goal, and go down and score a touchdown. That was two good drives for us to start the half.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the second half because you had some lulls after halftime at least. If you came out and were aggressive and hit those big pass plays, how important that was, for your confidence to get that.
Yeah, it's important. We've talked about how many 3-and-outs that we've had starting the second half, and when you're trying to, defer that first possession of the second half is very important, especially if they went down and got 6 there at the end of the first half, to be able to put it back to 2 scores. Now they went right back down and scored, but then the most important drive of the game was that response that we had to get it back to 27-16, which was a lot of different guys. I believe it was that drive where we had a 2nd and 20, I think. Hit DK and then had a conversion. Then they tried to pressure us and dropped 2 guys, really. Pat was wide open. I didn't see him. I just saw Jalen in the flat. And because Pat was so wide open, he was the convoy there to get in the end zone. So proud of our guys.
Are you still feeling these? Are you still feeling this? I don't want to use the word nimble here, but you moved around pretty well in this game. There have been other times this season. Do you still feel like that's something that you lead off when you can pull it off?
Yeah, some games you feel better than others. I was just telling the linemen, you'll understand this when you're 40. Some days you feel better than others. Wake up and there's no specific reason why, Thinking like, what did I do last night? Did I sleep wrong or whatever? But some days you feel great. Other days you feel maybe just good. Today I felt great. Maybe because it got such a beautiful grass field. But I felt good moving around there. And then to be able to run in a touchdown, it's been a long time there. That was in no way the play at all. It was the play to Jonnu, and the whole left side just caved in. I started running and realized I had 2 larger humans chasing me that I maybe was equal to or slightly faster than. So that was nice to get in the end zone.
You talked about the reception.
You talked about during the week.
You're next.
Not being sure if you'd be able to go under center today. When you did, how did it feel going under center, and how did that kind of open up more of the offense that was maybe missing last week?
Yeah, I don't know how much it opened up the offense, but it was important. Only, Brooke, because I don't feel like our action passing game was exceptional today. Our keepers were okay. But just the threat of being under center, I think, was nice to not have to, catch a shotgun snap all day and be able to kind of hear a little better at the line of scrimmage some of the calls that were going on. That was a kind of a slightly rogue decision that I made starting Saturday. But Gabe is a great dance partner when it comes to all things medical, because him and I have a real good back and forth about what we should be doing. And today I just went with a soft cast on there as the bones are healing up, and hopefully I can get out of that at some point.
What did you see on the reception? Tell us about that play with your catch. Sure.
I was trying to bat it down. I was trying to get my hand on top of it and push it down, and when I did, I felt whoever's big paw was there. So I kind of had a David Tyree for a second, and then it was kind of a battle for the football. I didn't realize at the time my knees were down. I was just struggling with it, but he was grabbing on my left wrist, which, And then there was some extracurricular at the bottom of the pile, and I was just pissed jogging off the field, so I'm glad that call went our way.
Aaron, no sacks today. How do you feel that your offensive line did today in pass protection?
I thought the pass protection was excellent. AP went down, and I thought Cookie stepped in and played really well. Obviously we gave him a little help on the first couple of them, but proud of him for stepping in. But the line, really gave me a lot of time today. There were some extensions. I kind of got out of a couple potential sacks, but for the most part, a super clean day. And to still be recovering from my injury and to not really get hit a whole lot. I don't know if I was on the ground one time without being clumsy and falling down. So that's a good day, good feeling tonight. Appreciate those guys, and I really felt the rivalry today and how much it means to both teams and the fans.
What does it mean to get a win like this after the week that you guys have had and the week that kind of Mike Tomlin has had too?
Means maybe you guys will shut the hell up for a week.
Was your cast different, did you say?
Yeah.
Could make a difference, you thought?
Well, not on the reception, no. I mean, Kabola, you can probably tell me this, but I don't feel like I've had a reception for positive yards in my career. I believe that's 3 catches, maybe. 3 catches? Yeah.
2 from -10.
I wasn't trying to catch the one, I promise. I wasn't trying to catch that one.
Oh, now, right now.
But I'm glad it wasn't a pick.
As you were
Two more here. 2 more. We got PQ coming in. 2 more.
As you were watching the replay of their play in the end zone, did you think that was going your way, or were you thinking that we got to go out and put together a drive now?
I was thinking we got to put a drive together, and so is Mason. He keeps talking my ear off about different things that we like and he likes and I like, and so he's sitting next to me. Will's on the other side, and Will and I are kind of like tuned into what's going on in the incompletion, and they move the ball back and they're lined up for the next play. And Mason can't believe it because he's been just talking my head off about these random plays, and I'm like multitasking, finding this out, and so we had a good laugh at Mason's expense for that one.
And the defense.
Last one.
Defense dealt with a number of injuries. We're on the field for, I think, 21 of the last 24 plays. Just speak to what they gave you today.
Yeah, great effort. I think a lot of guys stepped up with the injuries that we had. Looked like there were 3 or 4 guys that went out. So I'm proud of all those guys, and just the guys that are out there playing, with JP coming up with another huge pick, turnover for us, and Chuck playing a lot of meaningful snaps after not playing a ton of defensive snaps over the last few weeks. Peppers was out there for us. Cole Holcomb was out there for a number of snaps. So proud of those guys. It was an incredible effort down the stretch to hold them on the red zone, and then obviously in the 2-minute come up big with timely highlight play by Alex.
All right.
Thanks.
In the back.
I forgot the last 2 games here last year, and that's why you guys found how important it was to come in this game.
Yeah, I don't think last year really mattered to us. I think it was just more of us coming out here and fighting for what's at stake. Everything is about the future. So today we just had to be present and do what we had to do to control our destiny in the future. So.
Did you survive with this game?
I thrived. Nah, I had a little hiccup here and there, but I made it through.
Mike said that the offense had an aggressive mindset. You guys kind of feed off a similar type mindset heading into this game?
Yeah, like that first play was not expecting that at all, so that definitely got us fired up. We really trust our offense. I was talking about it early in the year. We let them down a couple times and stuff. So we know we got on offense. We just got to get them the ball, get it to them in good field position. We trust every single guy on their offense to go out there and do their job and do it at a high level. So it comes back to us as a defense, be able to do our jobs at a high level, get the ball back to them.
What does getting out a win like this do for this team's confidence going forward?
I think we just got to stack it. I don't think, it's a confidence booster. I think it's just the fact that we just got to go out there and do it again. Bless you. I think it's more of us being consistent. It was flashes this game. We still wasn't as consistent as we need to be. But it's just the whole thing. I think it's more momentum than confidence, if anything.
How big was this?
Holding the field goals instead of touchdowns there in the second half.
Yeah, it's huge. Anytime you can cancel out some points like that, you know, it gives us a chance. It gives our offense a chance to go down there and score and get 7. It would be better to stay out of those situations and keep them from getting field goals too. But at the end of the day, you know, it's 3 or nothing in those situations.
At one point, you there, you're laying down on the sideline getting treated, and next thing you know, you're in there breaking up a pass on a key play. Was that you had to get back in because you guys were leaking oil, or because it's a chance to win in Baltimore, or what's going through your head?
I'm just trying to be me, get back in the game. I was trying to get back in the game like 2-3 plays before that, but you can't have both of the headsets on the field at the same time. Peyton was in there, and I trust Peyton to be able to do his job at a high level and stuff, so I was just waiting until a perfect time for me to be able to get back out there. I didn't want to have no confusion going on. I didn't want us to have to waste the time out or anything, so it was just me waiting on, you know, a situation for me to be able to go back in there. That's all that was.
For you to get your first win back here in Baltimore?
I think if you would have asked me last year, it would have meant a lot. I think at this point, I'm 2 years in here. You know, what was at stake was more important, and that's all I care about, you know, trying to win a division. So at the end of the day, yeah, does it feel good? Yeah, I mean, obviously so, but the whole, you know, mess, I'm over it.
Talk me through you think they score a touchdown, then it gets overturned, you get back out on the field, and then to be able to make that check time and come up and stop that.
Yeah, we just, as soon as that happened, you know, we sitting there, we all still sitting there talking, and just trying to realize what plays are going to come next. So we know what kind of team they were in those situations. Everybody did their job. We was able to get off. I think the biggest thing is all of us staying locked in, everybody talking, communicating with each other, and trying to understand the situation and how big it is for our team.
PQ, Alex has dealt with a lot this year. Can you speak to the impact he made in this game today?
Yeah, you got a guy like that. For us, when we're covering, it's just all about getting those guys time to go make a play. You know, he's been through so much, and just knowing him as a person, how strong his faith is. Every single day he comes in to work super early. You know, he's always got a smile on his face. He's never down. If it is, it might be like a 2-second down period, then he's back up smiling and stuff. So dude's an absolute dog. Comes in every single day, like I said, with a smile on his face, ready to work there early. And it's something we can all feed off of.
How did you feel that the defense did from a communication standpoint, especially during that last stop?
Yeah, I think we was way better. It was every single play, guys calling stuff out. Guys calling stuff out that we don't even expect. So it was a whole lot of talking. Every single person on the field, from JP all the way being outside, coming down to Pep, Chuck, Ram, every single guy from the D-line talking about, hey, I see this. Like, it was so much communication. And that's what we need every single play, every single game. Guys just communicating at a high level. That gets everybody on the same page. And if it's somebody say something wrong, then we all can make them right, you know. So the biggest thing is us understanding that and just repeating it.
They ran 26 more plays than you. That's happened quite a bit this year. Why was it different today?
I think at the end of the day, you know, we don't be looking at play counts. We don't be looking at all that stuff. We just looking out there to go get a stop. And at the end of the day, you know, they got a few runs here, bleed us here and there, a few checkdowns that we could have been closer to in coverage. So at the end of the day, we got chances to get off the field, and we could. We just didn't. So that's one thing that we got to grow on and be better at, and I know we will.
What does a win like this mean for you guys after the week that kind of Mike Tomlin's had going back to the last game when, you know, fans are frustrated and they're kind of voicing that?
I mean, at the end of the day, this media gonna do stuff like that. Any guy in the building could care less. You know, it's a brotherhood, it's a family. We got each other's back. All we care about is what's in the building. All the stuff outside, we could care less about. We're just trying to do what's best for us and our team. So just being able to get a win like this right now, is just gonna create momentum. I think at the end of the day, we all understand how everything went this week, so we need to repeat that this week.
You said you need to
Last
stack,
two.
you have to stack wins now. You guys haven't really done that for a month or so now. Is that the next focus that you have to hit the stretch like that now?
I don't even think we just need to about stack. I just take it one day at a time. Stack that day, stack the next day, stack the next day. Rep after rep, meeting after meeting, whatever it is, just be locked in because, you know, the season flying by. Like, to me, everything flies by. So every single day I wake up, I try to just be present in the moment. And that's how I take it. I think that's how we should take it as a team. Just live in the moment, day by day, play by play, meeting by meeting, whatever it is, just stack it.
You answered the question about Alex. A lot of the same you said about Cole Holcomb. When you say about him stepping up there with a week down, and he ended up being the guy who tackled.
Yeah. Anytime, you know, you got a guy that went through what he went through and battled back, it's incredible to see. Every single day he's in meetings, talking, taking notes, answering questions that somebody else trying to answer and stuff. He's always on top of his stuff. So he's a smart guy. He's an extremely high competitor. So we really don't expect nothing less. Dude's a baller. Everybody knows that before he got injured. He was a baller. Everybody knew about him. So he's just coming back doing what he does.
Thank you, guys.
Cool. Thank y'all. Yep.
That is everybody.